Here are two pianos that are here to get soundboards, and I was going to make a video about that one first, but that one is going off to the finisher before it gets its board. This one is getting the board first, so I figured I'll flip over and do just an overview of what I do when I make a new soundboard for a piano. And I'm just going to start with the things that are going to be left after the old soundboard is removed, and those are mostly the metal plate, obviously the case, and the one that's not as obvious as the bridge. The top of the bridge gets replaced, but the bridge root, if you can see under here, there's a thin line here that differentiates the cap from the root. The root gets saved, the cap gets removed, and these pins, new pins and notches and stuff get carved in there. So one of the first things I do is look at the bridge cap and I say, is that too thick or too thin? As it sits, it's fine. Happy with that. And the other thing, the most important part to start with is the metal plate, because that determines the string height. You can see these A grafts are attached to the metal plate. This is where the hammers come up, and are the height of these strings correct, which they are. So I'm going to keep that. So I know that when I want this plate back right where it is height-wise. Now right and left is usually not an issue. It's usually correct to the action that's in there, and you might want to look at, say, the gaps on the sides. You might want to look at this metal wedge as it sits. Is it hitting right on this? This is the nexus between the plate and the case. Is that correct? And while I'm down here, another thing that I check for too is, here's the damper guide rail. Is that flush to what's called the belly rail? This is the belly rail, or the dam as the Germans call it. Is that flush? And it's slightly proud here, about a 0.5 millimeter, but it's not worth worrying about. I'll make it flush with that and less. For some reason, this isn't going to work. I always like to check too to see if originally they drilled through the belly rail, because this is a slant. Sometimes they drill through here, and there's holes in here where the damper guide rails get screwed into, and I don't like to get blamed for that. So if they're there, like they were on the last job I did, I like to document that. So anyway, I've determined that the plate is in it. I'm going to leave the plate right where it is in all directions, so I need to record that. And I'm happy with the bridge cap. Now the next major thing is the spacing and the way the bridge cap was made. Now there's some issues there. I don't like some of the stagger, which is how much the strings are deflected by these pins. That's an important thing to determine whether you're going to replicate this, or whether I have a process where I can relay out these entire sections and make the spacing, improve the spacing, improve the length of the wires. And this is right on the borderline of replacing it. I think I can take these and improve the ones that I don't like, and it'll be fine. So right now it's time to start tearing it apart, and yeah, it's time to start tearing it apart. I don't know what I'm doing talking to you guys. I should be taking it apart. Oh yeah, well, I forgot about that. I'm glad I left this note. When I measured the string length, these last strings are a little short, according to my database. This piano sounded okay. So with that being said, I'm going to try. If I ordered a stock set of bass strings from someone, they wouldn't fit. The copper windings would come way too close to the bridge, about a millimeter or two. So if you can see, the bridge pins are drilled a little closer to the front of this bridge, that's normally okay, because you really don't want those windings to foul on there. So you'll see a steeper angle here than maybe in the back, and you'll see this cheated sometimes towards the front. But what I'm going to do is make a decision, and I don't know whether I'm going to share that decision or not for a lot of reasons, but I'll either move this bridge back slightly which there's obviously room to move it back, and maybe I'll center these bridge pins here. Some of that's proprietary, so I don't want to get into a crap storm about string lengths and all of that stuff. So this is just a general view of what I do when I first get a piano. I'm sure I've left stuff out, in which case, too bad. So it's not a how-to video. It's just a little bit of what happens.